Hi, my name is Christy, and today I will be doing a read aloud to the book Ferdinand. This would be read for a second grade level, and the idea, the strategy behind it is for visualization and helping with focus. All right, so first of all, today we're going to be reading Ferdinand. Now, has anyone heard of the story before?
Me.
Okay. Do you know that the story comes from Spain?
Yeah.
Do you know where Spain is?
I don't know.
I will show you. I've got a map right here. It's not the best map, but it will show us
Where Spain is.
Okay. So the United States is here, and we're probably about right here. And Spain is all the way over here. So it's quite a ways away. It's across the ocean.
So is it east?
Yes, it would be east. And that is where this story comes from. Now, when we read the story, I want you to kind of create a little movie in your head of what you hear. And I will help you along with that as we go.
I think you skipped a page.
Let's start from the beginning, okay? Okay. Once upon a time in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. And you can use the picture in here to help form a little movie in your head. Right now, I'm picturing just a young bull out in nature in a field, some grass. It's a nice day. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. So, what are you picturing now?
I have a connection.
Okay.
I'm in this story because we're doing a play of music at school.
Okay.
And drama.
Okay. That's your connection? Good job. What are you picturing in your head?
Oh, that it's a grassy field and it's a sunny day and all the other little bulls are bouncing and jumping and butting their heads.
Excellent. All right. But not Ferdinand. He's out there all by himself.
Imagine a bull not running and not jumping.
Yeah. What does he like to do?
Smell the flowers.
He likes to just sit quietly and smell the flowers. So now I'm picturing the bull just sitting, smelling a big bunch of flowers, just being calm and enjoying his day.
I'm picturing that it's a nice sunny day and he's lying down in the grass filled with flowers and he's sitting in its shade.
That sounds like a lovely day. Oh, look, and he had a favorite spot. Out in the pasture under a cork tree. So he's not only out there on this beautiful day sniffing the flowers, he's under a tree and everything. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day long and smell the flowers. So now I'm picturing him just spending just the whole day away. Starts with the early morning, he's out there with the flowers. Then the sun's right above, and as the sun goes down, he's still in the same spot, sniffing the same flowers with a big smile on his face. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid that he would be lonesome all by himself. So now I'm picturing his mother, who is a cow, with a worried look on her face. What do you think she'd look like?
I think she would look like that, maybe he's not having a nice day.
Yeah. Do you think she's got a smile on her face, or do you think she's got a little frown?
I think she has a worried face.
Yeah. I bet she's got some wrinkles between her eyes. And her face is turned down, and she's just kind of, Oh, there we go. Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head, she asked. But Ferdinand would shake his head. I like it better here, where I can just sit quietly and smell the flowers. His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. So kind of like the picture shows, I pictured her walking away, not worried anymore, but kind of happy. And Ferdinand, of course, is very happy because he gets to sit and smell the flowers.
I would like to sit and smell the flowers.
I would too.
Maybe we should have a picnic under a tree one day.
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. He was a very big bull. I picture him. Big muscles, big horns, and a flower.
Oh my gosh.
All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. Do you know where Madrid is?
It's kind of like a castle where it's a big ring.
Well, that's in Madrid. Madrid is actually the capital city of Spain. So Spain is the country, and Madrid is the city that they're wanting to go to.
I kind of like the name Madrid.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Now, when you were listening to that, did your mind change? Like change scenes to a different place?
Like, I pictured a big paper on a fence, and the other little bulls gather around to read it.
Good job. But not Ferdinand. What was he doing?
Sitting down and smelling the flowers.
Yes, he still liked to sit just quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. So now I'm picturing 5 complete strange men coming in and just checking out all of the bulls.
I picture a lot of men coming with funny hats. And in my play, we have to pick funny hats.
Oh, cool.
It's really fun. One of them picked a jester hat.
All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very strong and fierce and pick them. So now I'm picturing all the other bulls in the field, running around and play fighting with each other.
Why did
with
you
the
do
5
it?
men watching them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. So why don't you tell me, what do you picture when you hear that?
I picture him going to the cork tree because he knew that they wouldn't pick them, and he didn't care, so he went off into the cork tree.
Did you picture that in your head, though? All right. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him. And that's just what this bee did to Ferdinand. Wow! Did it hurt? Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around puffing and snorting, butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. Oh my goodness, that is quite a scene I just pictured in my head. Did you get one too? I saw him sitting right on the bee with the big stinger, and it pointed right on his rump. And then, yes, he just went crazy. The 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all. Just the one for the bullfights in Madrid.
I picture the 5 men jumping like this. Yeah! Get it, Percy!
So they took him away for the bullfight in a cart. What a day it was. Flags were flying, bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. It's a big event when they have the bullfight in Madrid. Everyone comes out for it. They had a parade in the bull ring. First came the
Bandolieros.
Bandolieros, with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make him mad. Ooh.
Ha!
That doesn't sound very fun. So with this, I pictured just a line of these bandolieros. And the picture helps me visualize also what they would look like.
I picture them walking in a straight line, having their swords behind their backing, and saying, ha!
Good. That's good. Next came the picadors.
Yeah.
Who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him madder.
Ha!
So now I picture the bandolieros going first, and then I see the picadors behind them with their spears. And who's going to follow them?
The matador.
Then came the matador, the proudest of them all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all.
Ha!
Yes. When I think matadors, I always picture that big red cape that you always see of them flaunting around in the pictures and magazines.
Yeah.
So, of course, that's in my visualization. Then came the bull. And you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand! Yes. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce. And all the bandolieros were afraid of him. And the picadors were afraid of him. And the matador was scared stiff. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. So now I'm picturing the big open arena. And Ferdinand's running in, and it's just him in the center. No one is around him.
Can I picture what's going to happen next, kind of?
After I read it?
Yeah.
Sure. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers in the lovely lady's hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. What do you picture when I read that?
I picture him running to the ring, then sitting down, and then smelling the flowers from a far distance.
Good job.
But I know something.
Yeah?
How can he smell the flowers when he's that far away?
That's a really good question. I think because there are so many people in there, and there was a lot of lovely ladies, and they all had flowers, so the smell of the flowers just kind of overtook the air because there were so many. And if there's a wind blowing, that just made it that much better. Oh, sorry. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the bandolieros were mad, and the picadors were madder. And the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off his cape and sword.
I think that's the matador.
I think you're right. I think he's very frustrated because he wasn't able to show.
And I think the matador is really mad too.
I think so. I think he's the maddest of all of them. So they had to take Ferdinand home. And for all I know, he's sitting there still, under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. He is very happy. The end. What did you visualize at the end of the story?
I visualized they had a big cart, and that he was in it, and they had to take him away, and then he just came to the cork tree and sat down on the nice, cool grass in the shade, smelling the flowers.
Yes. And in my mind, he's got a big smile on his face. All right. Well, I think that is a good example of how you should try to visualize and see that kind of like a movie in your mind when you're reading a book. And when you do that, it helps with comprehension and it helps you remember parts of the story better also. And that was the story of Ferdinand for my first read aloud in working on visualization and focus. Again, that would be for second grade, so they're just kind of introducing this topic to them. And then as far as after the read aloud, I would have them, as an activity, go back and draw a picture of one of the scenes that they visualized in their head relating to the story, and possibly write what they remember about that section of the story on their same paper. And that could be something that they take home to parents or poster, just to reinforce the idea of how important it is to visualize what they read and how much it helps with comprehension. This also starts to hit on one of the grade 2 standards for literature. So, yeah, that's what I got.